Today's video is brought to you by the good people over at patriotpost.us. They are an excellent source of news, information, op-eds, and all that good stuff. And a link for them will be in the description box. So when you head over there and subscribe, tell them that ABL sent you. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about the Democrat far leftist House rep from Minnesota, Ilhan Omar, officially being reviewed. I can't say investigated because that could be kind of a different legal term, but she is officially being reviewed by at least 3 government agencies. They include the FBI, the Department of Education, and ICE. Now, this is a pretty deep story. There's a whole lot of quote unquote unpack here, as the cool kids would say. So let me back up a little bit and explain who Ilhan Omar is and why the story is important at all. Like I said, she's a far leftist Democrat House rep in Minnesota. She's part of the quote unquote squad, which include Ilhan Omar, obviously, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Ayanna Pressley, Rashida Tlaib, maybe even at this particular point, Pramila Jayapal, and maybe some others. They are a block of Democrats that are taking the Democratic Party all the way to the far left, which is very good for us on the right because that pretty much ensures they can't win anymore nationally. But that's a different story, and I digress. Let's get back to Ilhan Omar. She's part of this squad, has said quite a few things that are controversial, talking about Jews in Israel. It's all about the Benjamins, this, that, and the third. Talked about 9/11. Some people did something. A really controversial far leftist person that, in my humble opinion, is a radical Islamist. Let's go back to her childhood. She was born in Mogadishu, Somalia, and she fled Somalia during the war with her family. At the time, I think she was a child, like 8, 9 years old. They fled Somalia and went to a refugee camp in Kenya, stayed there for 4 years. Ironically enough, she was rescued by a Lutheran organization and she was resettled in the United States with some of her family. And a key word, some. I've read documents that explain what I'm going to say next. And if you want to read that, I'll link to it in the box. But according to what I've read, some of her family was able to settle in UK. Their surname was Saeed Elmi. Okay, that's important. When Ilhan Omar came to the U.S., the documents I've read allege that her name was also Saeed Elmi, the rest of her family, but they used the false name Omar to come with a different family that was named Omar. You see what I'm saying? They used a false name to gain entry into the U.S. So she comes to the U.S. She's 12 years old. She lives here. She goes to school here, North Dakota State University, and she becomes a politician. She's in the squad. Here we are today, 2020. Now, what is going on that has all these agencies investigating what's happening? Not the immigration fraud from back in the day, because that's not her fault. That'd be on her parents. She's 12 years old. I mean, you can't say, okay, you're going to go to jail because of what your parents did. It's not even about that. It's about more recent things that started back in 2009. Her marriage is the key thing here. Well, there's been a couple of marriages, and that's a problem. The first person who I would say is a legitimate person is named Ahmed Hersey, allegedly. Now, this guy, she was married to years ago. They got kids like that are almost grown at this particular point. And by the way, Ilhan Omar is like 37, 38 years old right now. They got married early on through the traditional ceremony in their religion because they're both Somali, Muslim, whatever the case may be. They did not get officially married until 2018, and they got divorced in 2019. Weird, but whatever. They were married years and years ago, like 03, 02, whatever, under their traditional thing. They got kids in the whole nine. They've been living together this whole time. Back in 2009, while apparently still married to the first husband through the traditional marriage, not legal, she gets legally married to a different man by the name of Ahmed Noor Saeed Elmi. Saeed Elmi. Sound familiar? That is a name of Ilhan Omar's sister, father, everybody else, maybe even her own name before she came to the U.S. and changed it to Omar. Okay, because remember, some of her family was able to come to the US and some went to UK. Now, this man that she married was listed as a UK citizen. Okay, we following each other. So the rumor is that this man was her brother. Obviously, he got the same last name, and she was married to the other guy, had kids with him. And the purpose of them being married legally was to grant him citizenship to the US. Okay, it was some immigration fraud, allegedly, from when I've been able to read. I mean, to think about it like this, why would you get married to him legally while the guy you get kids with and you've been with all these years, you did not get married to legally? It doesn't make any sense. It seems like you were trying to gain some kind of legal benefit by marrying this person who you don't have any kids with, who has the same last name as the rest of your family that fled Somalia with you, but instead of going to the US, they went to the UK. All right. So as a result of that, there's all kind of problems. You got bigamy, you got tax fraud, you got student loan fraud. There's a bunch of felonies listed potentially, and if convicted, it'd be the most convictions out of any House rep in U.S. history. It's pretty bad. But this has been going on for quite a long time as far as the public knowing about it. Now, before, it was kind of dismissed as a Republican conspiracy theory, people trying to attack Ilhan Omar, they're racist. No. I mean, you can't be married to somebody, then get married to somebody else. You can't get married to your own brother. You can't get married for the purposes of trying to grant them immigration preferential treatment in the U.S. Like, there's all kind of fraud that's going on here. Also, she used allegedly some of her campaign finance money to tighten up the whole issue with the alleged brother marriage a few years ago. Okay, she had to get a lawyer to fix that problem with campaign finance money. So that's not really good. And the most recent thing is allegations that she left her real husband, who she got officially married to in 2018, after she got divorced from her alleged brother in 2017. She has gotten with this guy, Tim Minette, and has allegedly funneled campaign finance money through him. It's easy. He has a consulting company or whatever. She is a political figure. She gets donations to her campaign. She pays him to do certain little tasks, consulting or what have you. But rather than him actually doing that particular work and using the money for that, he gives all of the money or some of the money back to her. Isn't that called like money laundering or embezzlement or something like that? I'm not really sure, but there's a list of crimes that could be committed here. I'm just glad that she's under investigation, or well, I can't say investigation, review, because this is an obvious thing here. The main thing that I see is the marriage fraud and the immigration fraud. I want to see them do a DNA test on the husband, Ahmed Noor Saeed Elmi, the ex-husband, brother, husband, whatever the case may be. I can almost guarantee that it would be an exact match. Matter of fact, documents list that out of her siblings that went to the UK, Ahmed Noor Saeed Elmi was one of them. So you got married to your own brother for immigration purposes to the US, allegedly. That's what it seems like to me. You didn't get married to your first husband, then you get married to him at the same time. It's weird. It's really weird, but whatever the case may be, hopefully this gets resolved appropriately. And you may see more things like this from members of the quote unquote squad. The Democrats don't really like them because they're pushing the Democratic Party all the way further to the left. They're kind of getting in the way. They're not allowing them to conduct business. Nancy Pelosi has pretty much no power. She has pretty much ceded it unwillingly to an AOC and the rest of the squad. So they have a bone to pick. We have a bone to pick. And beyond just the bones to pick in the political games, you can't be getting married to your own brother. You can't be getting married to one guy while you're married to somebody else. You can't be frauding the government through immigration and education and stuff like that. You just can't do it. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? Do you think that Ilhan Omar will be found guilty of all of the charges that are laid at her feet, or some of them? If that's your viewpoint, let me know why in the comments below. Or do you think that it's nothing burger, it's a conspiracy theory from the right trying to attack Ilhan Omar's character? If that's your viewpoint, let me know why in the comments below. Like I said, I have documents, I have evidence. I'll link to it in the box. You can read it for yourself. You can't just let people do whatever they want to do. There's got to be some kind of rules and consequence to your actions. But whatever your comments are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.